Hey, everybody. This question comes and it's about IEP goals and closing out the goals in the midst of an IEP meeting. So this is a great one for parents because we're going to be talking about what teams really should be doing in a meeting, how you know whether your kid is making good progress. And there will be other posts on this one, but this one is specifically about closing out goals. So within the IEP, typically in the present levels section, the PLOP, the PLAF, whatever you want to call it, a best practice is to rewrite or remind everybody what the previous year's goals were. That's pretty common. I see that all the time in IEPs. But what I don't see is whether or not the child met the goal using data or a comment about like why that happened or what we're going to do about it. And oftentimes it feels like last year's IEP is very disconnected from this coming year's IEP, which shouldn't be the case, right? So if the IEP team determined that FAPE was X last year and that these were the goals that your child or your student were going to meet, then you have a legal obligation to meet those goals. And if you don't, there should be a discussion about that. Why was that? What do we think happened? Do we need to adjust the IEP? And in what ways to make sure that we are making and achieving those goals for next year? If you're not having that discussion, you risk, adding the same services, same amounts, same instructional strategies, and still not getting the progress that you need to see over the course of the year. So it's important in those meetings to talk and reflect about the year prior and make something has to change if you're not seeing those goals being met. And as a parent, I want to know sort of what's going on and what's going to change in order to feel comfortable that we're creating the right IEP to move forward. And I would also want to know as a parent why, like, were we on track the whole year and something happened at the end? Or were we never on track and we should have really reconvened as a team earlier to discuss why progress wasn't being made appropriately sort of along the way? Because there's, if something's not working, we need to change. We need to, call another meeting. Because if you're not seeing that trend line that you're on the trajectory to meet the goal, then you're not going to meet the goal, and something needs to change in order to change the trajectory of progress for that specific goal. So to round out, sort of stamp best practice is to very clearly state whether or not the goal was met or not. And there's not really anything in between. Like, progress made, that's nice, but you needed to meet the goal by this point, not make progress on it. So what's going on there? So that's the first thing, is to very clearly spell out which goals have been met or not. And then also, as a team or as a parent, really thinking about how are our structures and systems set up to make sure that we're catching when kids aren't on track towards their goals and addressing that earlier. Because as a parent, I would not be super happy to enter a meeting and find out that my child had not been on track to meet those goals and didn't meet them. Obviously, you have progress reports. We'll talk about that later. But still, not super happy if I'm going into an IEP meeting where those goals have not been met. So that's my little spiel about closing out goals. Again, if you have questions, you can email me at askingrid@project-idea.org. Or you can visit our website, project-idea.org, for other tools and resources.